गुरुतमो दामः सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्विवाचस्पतिरुदारधीः हिरण्यगर्भस्तत्रज्ञो व्याप्तो वायुर्दोक्षजः ऋतुसुदर्शनकाल परमेष्टि परिग्रहः इदं कीर्तनीयस्य केशवस्य महात्मनः नाम्नां सहस्रं दिव्यानां.
So today has been a really interesting day. Out of all of the days of Navaratri, it's been the most introspective and the most out of routine, out of whack. And I kind of did nothing in the in the same way that I did the day prior. I am editing this video and I cannot believe I just forgot to mention this one thing. Today is Thursday and it is my favorite day of the week. And before I knew anything about astrology, I always just really loved Thursdays, and I don't know why, but I always felt like that was the day that I had the most spirituality. This probably makes no sense at all, but like I swear, like something about Thursdays just always made me feel really grounded. I have so many examples, but I'm not going to share them because it sounds crazy. But I also found out after I started studying astrology, Thursday is called Guru, and then as obviously Guru Bhagavan, and one of my favorite planet is Jupiter, and Guru is Jupiter. And then guess what the color of Jupiter is? Yellow, my favorite color. So anyway, today is just a special day, and makes sense why it was so introspective, because it's always played out that way for me. And I've always felt the most connected to this day. And if you take the day of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the 5th day of the week. The number 5 is like very important to me and signifies a lot of change in numerology, and signifies a lot of creativity as well for me. So it's just very interesting how it all just kind of connects. And yeah. and today obviously like was the color yellow for what we were supposed to wear, because as we established, the colors for Deepavali and like the saris that you're supposed to wear coincides with the planets as well. So that's another like big reason that I wanted to wear all the colors, like all the colors on the right day, was because I wanted to invoke or honor the Bhagavan that we were supposed to honor from multiple facets. Like I wanted to appease the planets, and then I also wanted to appease Rama and Hanuman in different ways. And I have to say, like, me watching One Piece, even if One Piece is not your thing, like, you gotta make it your thing. I'm being so honest. Especially if you enjoy my content and you enjoy, like, Sanatana Dharma, spirituality, like, you must watch One Piece. Luffy is Hanuman, and that is all I will say on the matter. And there's just so much to it. And Hanuman has always been, like, a personal connection. I've always had a personal connection to Hanuman. And I think it's because we have the same nakshatram, and it's the Mula nakshatram. So maybe that's why, but yeah. Anyway, today's been a very like synchronicity filled day, but not in like the obvious loud ways that usually happen. It's in the subtleties, which is why I love Thursdays, because it's always like that for me. Anyway, back to the video. As in Sundaragandam, I read it at like noontime and started cooking at 5 p.m. after coming back from the office around like 5:30. It was just a little bit off, and I kind of commend myself for riding the wave a little bit. As you may have guessed, if you've watched me for any extended period of time, I really appreciate structure and order. And if something is off balance, I tend to feel like it's my fault and I go into some sort of overthinking mode. And so I really commend myself, which sounds weird to say out loud, that I didn't freak out throughout the day, that I was like late or not doing something right or whatnot. We actually were supposed to have 2 guests today. That did not end up panning out. I made a little bit extra food thinking that I was going to have guests, but we ended up not, and that's totally fine. Luckily, they'll be able to come, later in the week. But I think what I'm trying to say is like things didn't really go to plan, and normally I blame myself for some reason or another for that happening, but today I didn't. And so that's like, take that idea, put a pin in it. Earlier in this vlog, I show you like a zoomed in clip of this one paragraph where Sita basically is very upset, and she kind of feels defeated that she's in this situation with the Rakshasis and with Ravana in front of her, with no hope, with her husband being so far away. It was just like, oh, I'm in this situation and it sucks. And I never noticed how similar Sita's mindset and Hanuman's mindset were. Like, I never noticed that parallel. They both are extremely devoted to Rama. This story in particular, Sundaragandam, is like a time and place in which both of them are lamenting a lot. We know that Hanuman is very mischievous. We know that he can be tempted by different things. In this story, he's not tempted by any of Lanka's attributes, any of the wealth, any of the women that are anywhere. Like, none of the things that Lanka has to offer he was tantalized by. And Sita obviously also did not give in. So it was just interesting to see that, like, both of them being so preserving of their respect and their chastity, if you will. And I think it's just interesting. Like, I've never noticed how similar Sita's mind voice and Hanuman's mind voice were. And I've read Sundaragandam like every year since I was 19, and every year I notice something different, and it's this really stood out to me. So that paragraph, going back to what I was saying, that paragraph that I zoomed in on, I related it to One Piece. I don't know if you watch One Piece or if you're familiar with the story, or you're caught up or whatnot, but there's this one particular arc later in the show. I think I'm on like episode 900. So I'm on the Wano arc. And in this arc, and without giving too much away, if you have not gotten up to this point and you do watch the show, the people are feeling very defeated. Like, crushing the spirits of the people is kind of the leader's motive. And also their ends to their means. And it's interesting, like, how similar I found Ravana to be in the way that he, like, destroyed her spirit of, because she's very, like, barren. Like, she's not wearing any of the jewelry. She's not wearing any of, like, she's not wearing any garment, or there's no indication on her being that is showing that she is as powerful as she really is, right? There's this whole section where Hanuman is like looking for Sita, and knew in a way that she would be without any sort of fancy clothes, because she would be so upset that she's far away from her husband, Sri Rama. I say that because that particular aspect did not stand out to me in other times that I've read it, but it stood out to me this time. And I think it's because sometimes I feel that the oppression of our situation can sometimes make us feel very, very defeated. And in the most simplistic, reductive way possible, I'm going to say, like, we have to keep going. And if we think of God, then that strength is not necessarily ours to learn, but to be inspired from. We, as human beings, are given such unique circumstances to overcome difficulties. And my difficulties do not look the same as yours, and don't look the same as the next person. And that's by design. And oftentimes we compare ourselves to each other to think like, oh, well, your life is harder, or your life is easier, or you don't know what I'm talking about. Like, you'll never understand what I'm going through. I think I've said those words to my husband today. And then also when I was a child, to my parents. Like, I mean, we all feel like very unique in our struggles, And sometimes I feel that we are asked to read Sundaragandam during difficult time periods, because it's supposed to inspire us in a way of strength that is given when you say the name of God. And again, these are just like English words, but it's like the way that it's a feeling. It's not really a sentence. I have to say it in a sentence because that's how I can communicate this message. And it's like, you might think, obviously, this girl on the internet who talks about spirituality and Sanatana Dharma believes that the strength of God is going to, or like thinking of God is going to give you strength. But it's like, it's not that simple. I feel that the idea of strength, the idea of like perseverance, is a feeling. And one that we don't necessarily have to be ready for to obtain. Like, we can start to feel strength and perseverance and move through life without having to take on any of the pain that comes with it. And it's a complicated thought process, but it reminds me a lot of what Sita was feeling. And she didn't necessarily probably think like, oh, I'm this strong woman, I must be this strong person, I must persevere. Rather, she was very upset that she was far away from her husband. She was very like, I don't know what's going to come of this. Like, she was even sitting there thinking like, is he even thinking of me? And for her to be in doubt, for her to have any of that, not doubt for God, or doubt in her husband, but doubt that, like, am I going to get out of this situation? And so if she, Bhumi Devi, incarnated has those feelings, then of course you and I are going to have those feelings, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to get through it. I think that's the key here, is even if you feel like you are not going to get through your situation and things are not going to improve for you, if you think of God, that feeling of connecting to God and connecting to a higher power is that strength. So it's just inspiring to see, and I think that's the point, other gods and devatas have issues. I think is what I'm trying to say here, because you just don't think of them as people that have problems like you and I do. So do with that what you will. I think really what I've learned today is, you know what? I don't control anything in the first place. So to think that I do is a waste of energy, a waste of time, and a waste of mental effort. So I'm going to ride the wave a little bit. And it doesn't, sometimes I think like, oh, I'm going to ride the wave, or I'm going to go with the flow, means I'm not going to take action. But what I really think it is I'm going to take action. I'm going to do what I have to do and do what I want to do. And what comes out of that is none of my business or in my control. We've touched on this topic before, so I'm not going to get back into karma yogam, but it's just more of like, yeah, okay, maybe you made extra food and you don't have anyone to feed it to other than you and your husband, and there's extra stuff. Okay, you have it for tomorrow. It's like, again, it's just let go. It doesn't matter. Everything's supposed to happen the way that it is happening. And I think Kiran and I, it's funny because he, after dinner, was like, you know, for our first Navaratri, maybe we weren't supposed to have a guest every single day. Maybe like God was like, just take it at this pace. And it's so funny because I swear to the Lord above that earlier today I had the exact same thought. Maybe everything that's been happening over the last few days and like me feeling like, oh, this is like a really slow season, or I'm not, feeling as connected to Navaratri as I would if I were in my parents' house, yada yada, like all those thoughts that were going through my head, like maybe I'm doing something wrong, blah blah blah. It's like God basically saying like, no, like you're doing everything you can. It's just like this is what you can handle at this time with the variables that you have in your life. And it's our job to just sit there and be grateful for it. Like I kind of freaked out last night because I was like, why can't I just be happy with what's in front of me? Like, why can't I just be like grateful, happy, excited at what's right here, instead of constantly thinking like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. And then I think that's just the lesson I'm supposed to learn right now, that I just need to be happy with what's in front of me, and I can't be thinking about I can't be overthinking things. And so it's just funny to me, and not funny, and very intentional and very much on purpose, that I'm reading Sundaragandam when Hanuman literally laments all the time, and so does Sita. Like, I don't know, it's very validating. Like, yeah, your mind is going to think, just like how your heart beats, just like how your legs walk. Your mind is going to think, and instead of like putting all of this extra effort for me to like control every single thought that goes through my head, maybe I just don't take it personally that even the voice in my head might not be on my side. Like, I've worked really hard to not let random things affect my entire day. Like, I don't get upset at little things anymore. Like, I really have worked hard to not take life personally, like not take things at work or people in my life. Like, I don't take that personal anymore. But I do tend to take the voice in my head very personally. Like, maybe I'm supposed to detach from that as well. And just let the mind think, like, what's the worst that could happen? It's not like I'm going to act on every thought anyway. So, takeaways, I feel that so far in the Sundaragandam, it's like, it's not that it's fine to overthink, but like I'm making it a bigger problem than it really is, I think. And I'm thankful that like God is kind of showing me that, yeah, you might have all these struggles, And like, you don't need to be strong enough to overcome them. If you just think of me, like, I will give you that strength, and just like let go of control and let me take the reins, and you'll be fine. Just keep doing what you have to do and do the right thing and be a good person and do your duty, and like, let that be the only variable in your life. Like, don't let like the result of all these things be your problem. So yeah, this time reading Sundaragandam is completely different than any other time I've read it before. This is the first time I'm reading like out of a book. Typically I read out of a PDF, and the PDF is like a little bit different. This book is very detailed, but at the same time, like, I just have a different feeling, maybe like a different level of maturity reading this than I did 2 years ago. And last year I didn't read it. So last year was the only year since I was like in college that I took a break from. But yeah, I think I'm just a little bit more mature reading this book, because I feel like it applies more to my emotions and more of my sense of duty than it does to my problem or thing that I intended prior to reading the Sundaragandam. Because like, whether you think of it or not, like, a lot of times when we pray, like, we pray for a purpose, and this time, like, I did have a very like, okay, this is what I want, and not only have I already received it in a very subtle way, I'm just being given a lot more clarity on things that I didn't even ask for. But I think that's like that whole thing with strength, that I don't need to force myself to be strong. I will become strong through life's experiences. And that's the letting go aspect of it, and the trust in self and trust in God. So today's a little bit of a different vlog, different video, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to another person's house tomorrow, and I'm excited. And then the weekend will be here, and I anticipate it to be a lot of fun, a lot more like activity, and yeah. I hope you are having a great Navaratri season, and I will talk to you tomorrow.